Strange as it sounds today, where authentic apparel is central to sports fandom, not everyone was always on board with selling officially licensed products. The first known licensing agreement in pro sports was signed in 1928, when a 16-year-old entrepreneur named David Warsaw struck a deal with the Chicago Cubs to sell Wrigley Field-shaped ashtrays. But even into the mid-70s, there still weren't many officially licensed products available to fans. Most league executives figured only kids would be interested, and some teams even thought that if fans wore licensed apparel, it would diminish the team's brand. Back in the day, counterfeiters were doing a better job of outfitting fans, and the league started hiring people to shut them down. But it proved there was a demand for official apparel, and as a new generation started working in pro sports, the mindset started to change. It was around this time that David Beckerman founded Starter to manufacture uniforms for high school sports, as well as jackets for amateur bowling and softball teams. 5 years later, in 1976, Beckerman entered into non-exclusive licensing deals with various pro sports leagues. Starter's first retail product was a line of jackets emblazoned with the logos of Major League Baseball teams, and a deal that saw Starter pay the league an annual fee of $25,000 plus a 5% royalty. Soon after, the company signed similar deals with the NHL and NBA, and expanded its licensed apparel line to include headgear, activewear, and accessories. Starter also signed a deal with the Canadian Football League, and also created team stores for their partner leagues, where fans could shop for licensed products from their favorite teams. By that time, Beckerman had a small factory in New Haven, Connecticut, where a team of locals manufactured Starter products. A fabric delivery driver named Tony Amendola had connections in Major League Baseball and offered to shop Starter jackets to big league managers and players. It turned out his connections were Yankees manager Billy Martin and Mets manager Joe Torre. Both managers were happy to wear the jackets in the dugout, and just like that, Starter gained a ton of credibility. Even though they had deals with professional baseball, basketball, hockey, and Canadian football, they still couldn't get a deal with the NFL, who already had deals with other vendors and wasn't open to change. But Beckerman was incredibly persistent, and after years of delivering coffee and donuts to the NFL head office, he finally got a meeting with an NFL licensing executive named John Bello. He signed a deal for Starter to create team jackets for the sidelines, and a couple of years later, the NFL launched ProLine, which gave fans a catalog of sideline apparel worn by players and coaches. The deal was a huge success, with one report stating that 5,000 fans called the league office, looking to buy the hat and sweater that Jets coach Joe Walton was wearing on the sidelines.
There's nothing like being in the NFL, so get in the action. Come on, get into it.
Now you're in the NFL when you get into the NFL Pro Line, because now with the NFL Pro Line, you can get the real thing. The same equipment Mike Ditka and all the rest of the NFL coaches use, the tools of the trade. Coach's shirts and shorts by Bike. Coach's cap by Sports Specialties.
Same one I wear.
Sweater by Cliff Engel.
That's my sweater.
And the Starter jacket, custom tailored, custom designed.
Who's the new coach?
You could be next.
Look for the authentic NFL Pro Line.
Okay, get into it.
NFL Pro Line, get into it. For your NFL Pro Line catalog, send $1 with your name and address to 6921 Preston Road, Dallas, Texas, 75205. NFL Pro Line, get into it.
The floodgates also opened in the other leagues, with teams expanding their lines of authentic apparel, and Starter signing endorsement deals with the likes of Larry Bird and others.
Starter.
Every time I go out there,
The adrenaline starts pumping.
chills running down my spine. I'm scared.
Whoa. Talent can only take you so far.
You always have to be motivated yourself.
You gotta have something inside.
Burning desire to go out there and compete every night.
You need to do everything it takes. No matter what.
Stopping at nothing.
I'm not gonna stop.
That's the nature of the beast.
Score that touchdown just to hit him go crazy.
You have to love it.
Starter.
What do you need to be the best?
Everything you got. It's up to you.
Nobody thought that grown-ups wanted to walk around in replica jerseys, but the exact opposite turned out to be true. Sales of the NFL's ProLine apparel went through the roof, and the MLB created the highly successful Diamond collection of jerseys and caps. Starter continued to grow, and started supplying the hats and shirts that were given to players after championships. They also created snapback caps, hoodies, and duffel bags, which further established Starter as a fashion brand. The early 90s gave rise to so-called fashion fans, who were drawn to certain Starter apparel because of a team's colors or logo. The most famous example of this was teenagers wearing Charlotte Hornets jackets because the color teal was popular. San Jose Sharks gear was also fashionable because people liked the black and teal combo and thought the Sharks logo was cool. Before long, Starter Apparel became part of hip-hop culture and was an iconic part of 90s fashion in general.
First you grab the hat, then you grip the hat, then you flip the hat.
You're late and you got the wrong hat. Sit in the corner.
No respect at all.
Then you raise the hat.
Hey, this thing's still alive.
Wrong hat.
But hey, don't forget, look for the star.
Starter jackets became so popular that kids were being robbed at gunpoint on their way to school.
The starter jacket is currently the most popular jacket around. Students proudly wear the names of their favorite pro sports team. But wearing this jacket can mean trouble.
These kids having problems walking to and from school without somebody riding up, putting a gun to the head, taking their jacket.
So far, no one has been hurt, but police fear the robberies could become more violent.
If one of these kids refuses to give up their jacket, they're subject to get killed.
A starter jacket theft led to the death of 34-year-old Michael Levy last September. He was trying to stop 4 teens who police say had shoplifted the jackets from an athletic store when he was shot. Since early December, East Fort Worth detectives have investigated at least 20 jacket robberies, mostly around high schools. The youngest victim was 11. 18-year-old Tommy Lee Fannin is charged in 3 of the robberies. A 16-year-old Eastern Hills High School student is also a suspect, and this 18-year-old Dunbar High School student faces charges as well.
A big part of the company's success was its young and scrappy workforce, made up of a bunch of recent college grads who were familiar with current trends. Starter even did a guerrilla marketing campaign with influencers before the concept was popularized by gifting clothes to musicians and celebrities for extra exposure. They also created demand by curtailing quantity, limiting the number of stores that received their products, and manipulating how much those stores received. They also sold limited edition apparel that would sell out quickly and never be available again. With Starter reaching new heights in the early 90s, Nike founder Phil Knight made an offer to purchase them, but Beckerman turned him down. Not long after, he took Starter public in 1993, earning the company an estimated $98 million, which was used to expand sales to Europe and the Pacific Rim. Starter opened on the New York Stock Exchange at $21 a share and settled at $24. The company brought in Jack Tucker as president, a Harvard business graduate with 2 decades of executive experience, who Beckerman thought would be an effective face for Wall Street. But under Tucker, things became more regimented and less creative, with Starter evolving from a company that figured things out on the fly to having a standard operating procedure for everything. In order to appease shareholders, the company's philosophies changed, with Starter opening shops in department stores and partnering with large sports retailers like Champs. But they were simultaneously losing market share as the league started granting licenses to more companies. This made it harder to dominate the authentic jacket market, like Starter did at the beginning of the 90s, as they suddenly had a lot of competition. Another problem was, Starter had made such a ubiquitous product that people started to refer to jackets offered by other manufacturers as Starter jackets as well, as if it were a style and not a brand. Starter also took a massive hit in 1994, first with the MLB strike that canceled the World Series, and then the NHL lockout that wiped out half the season. The MLB strike, which dragged on through the winter holidays and into the following season, meant that Starter lost Christmas sales and had no preseason sales for the 1995 season. The NHL strike also occurred over Christmas, which further exacerbated Starter's financial difficulties. Another challenge came in 1998, when there was a basketball work stoppage, which reduced the season to 50 games and once again decimated Christmas sales. Despite these challenges, Starter became the NHL's primary jersey provider for the 1997-98 season. In terms of style and comfort, Starter jerseys are highly regarded amongst jersey collectors and are rated as one of the better quality jerseys in terms of breathability. As far as branding, the jerseys had a Starter tag on the sleeve, as well as a Starter logo on the bottom right, along with a logo that indicated the conference the team played in. At the behest of the NHL, Starter jerseys also featured fighting straps to comply with the new rule that was introduced for the 97-98 season. Starter also executed several new designs and jersey updates, including the jerseys for the Carolina Hurricanes' inaugural season. Other new designs included the Canucks' new Orca jerseys, new green jerseys for the Stars, new home jerseys for the Blues, and new third jerseys for the Senators, Flyers, and Capitals. Starter also reintroduced the lace-up collar on the Rangers' blue jerseys, which hadn't been seen since 1976. They also made fashion jerseys, with alternate color schemes other than the team's primary colors. Other cool Starter jersey designs included the Flames Blasty, the Panthers Navy Blues, the Kings Black and Purples, the Predators inaugural uniforms, the Rangers Lady Liberty, and the Coyotes Desert Landscape. But as licensing became more profitable, the NHL and other leagues started demanding higher royalties and upfront money, which cut into Starter's bottom line. They continued making NHL jerseys until the 99 to 2000 season, until their financial troubles forced them to relinquish their rights to the NHL. It also turned out that picking Jack Tucker as president was a mistake, when it was discovered he hadn't visited any league offices in his 3 years at the helm. This infuriated Beckerman, who took over as president in August of 1997, after Starter reported second quarter losses of $4.7 million. As his company continued to lose money, Beckerman struck a deal with the Bank of Boston on the debt, which included kicking in $11 million of his own money, and was given 2 years to turn things around. The company started downsizing and went through layoffs, but it was too little too late, and in April of 1999, Starter filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. By the time the 1999 baseball season concluded, every team had switched to Majestic brand jackets, other than the Yankees, who were managed by Joe Torre. Starter wasn't the only casualty, as most of the sports apparel pioneers were overtaken by the turn of the 21st century as the shoe juggernauts took over. The Starter brand was sold off, initially to the Schottenstein family, which owned Value City Furniture. 5 years later, the name was bought again for $43 million, this time by Nike, who took the company's athletic clothing line and sold it in Walmart, which broke Beckerman's heart. In recent years, the Starter brand's gone through a revival, with the jacket line returning thanks to a partnership between G3 and brand owner Iconics, which bought Starter from Nike in 2007. There's also been a renaissance in vintage athletic apparel, thanks to 90s nostalgia and thrift shopping. Vintage Starter jackets are going for hundreds of dollars, with rare items going for thousands, like the Miami Hurricanes jackets worn by 2 Live Crew, or the all-black Los Angeles Raiders jackets worn by NWA. And if you check out Starter's website or Twitter account, you'll see the brand is still putting out some really cool apparel, including shoes and a variety of streetwear. Let me know what you remember about the Starter brand in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to support the channel.